Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to a MLB Ballpark tier rankings video where I will be ranking all 30 Major League Baseball stadiums from worst to best through these tiers, guys. And quickly, let me explain the tiers. The S tier is going to be the best of the best, obviously. The A tier is going to be significantly above average, a very good ballpark. The B tier is going to be slightly above average to slightly below average. The C tier is going to be significantly below average. And then the D tier is going to be the worst of the worst. So, guys, let's get right into it. I love MLB stadiums. Obviously, MLB stadiums have a lot more character. They're a lot more unique than football stadiums, than basketball arenas. So let's get right into this. We've got Rogers Center. And guys, I'm high on Rogers Center. I like Rogers Center more than a lot of other people. I'm going to put it at the front end of the B tier right now because I do think it's a good ballpark. I don't like that they removed that turf that made the ball really bouncy. I thought that was a unique thing about it. You know, probably, I'm sure the players liked that they removed it, but I liked it. Obviously, they have the hotel in center field, which is very cool. So I like this. It's a retractable roof in Toronto. Most of the time they have the roof open. Like the ballpark, I know a lot of people aren't really a fan of it, but I have it as a slightly above average baseball stadium and definitely a more hitter-friendly park. Moving on, we've got the Colosseum, guys. This is a classic. You have to put it. I'm going to put it at the front end of the D tier. Obviously, this is the last, multi-purpose stadium, or it was a multi-purpose stadium with the Raiders and the A's. The outfield seating arrangement is just a weird mix of sections of seats. It's very interesting. And then you have Mount Davis, obviously, up there. It's very ugly. I do like all the foul territory. I think that makes a ballpark unique. So when you go to Oakland, it's obviously going to favor just the dimensions. It favors the pitchers more than the hitters. That's normally how it is. And normally they, out in Oakland, they normally get like 50-degree nights, most nights, even during the summer. So it's going to favor the pitchers. But yeah, multi-purpose stadium, it's hard to rank that high. It is the last remaining multi-purpose stadium. And it kind of is not really a multi-purpose stadium anymore, considering the Raiders moved, although football did used to be played there. That's why the foul territory is so absurd. Moving on, Coarse Field. I really like Coarse Field. I probably will put it at the back end of the A category. I think it's an above average ballpark. Obviously, it's a hitter's haven, and I think that plays to why I like it so much. I just think it has a good character. If your team's going into Coarse Field, you're going to score some runs, right? And the Rockies are going to score runs. It's not like when's the last time the Rockies have had an ace pitcher? It's just impossible because Coarse Field is it is the best hitter's park by far. And they actually made it even worse. They made the outfield huge because they thought, well, if we we keep the fences back, that'll limit the home runs with the thin air out in Colorado. It didn't limit the home runs at all. It just made the outfield massive, and it made it, triples easier to get. And you take a look at the Coors Field outfield, it's absurdly huge. But the home runs still happen very often because of the thin air, guys. It is such a hitter's ballpark. I like the ballpark a lot. Moving on, it looks like Nationals Park, I believe. Very average park. I'm going to put it towards the back end of B. The broadcast, place where the announcers are at is absurdly high. Fun fact about it, it's absurd. It's like the highest point. It's almost like at the upper deck where they broadcast the game from at Nationals Park. I just think it's an average park. There's really nothing special about it. It's a common, normal park. Not much to talk about. We have the Trop, and guys, it's the worst ballpark in baseball. This is one of the ballparks I've been to. I think I've been to 4 or 5 ballparks. If I've been to a ballpark, I'll talk about it. But the Trop, I've been to it, guys. The concession stands, when you go to the stadium, it looks like a carnival. I mean, it is a really, really, really bad stadium. It's the worst stadium in baseball by far. That's not even a question. They're trying to raise new money. It's so sad that you go to St. Petersburg. It's great weather, but they're playing in this dome. It's so unfortunate. But yeah, the Trop is the worst ballpark in baseball. That is not arguable. Moving on to Kaufman Stadium. A bit of an interesting one. I'm going to put it at the beginning of the B tier. Definitely more, can it move? I'm going to put it at the beginning. I'll keep Rogers Center in front of it, I think. Kaufman Stadium's a good park. Definitely good for triples, especially left center gap, right center gap. It's a very peaceful ballpark, right? Not a lot of outfield seating, kind of a weird design with how the upper deck is curved around. But I like the ballpark. I think it's an above average ballpark. You know, I'm an Indians fan, so we go to Kansas City quite often with them being in division. I don't mind the ballpark. Moving on, Chase Field, very average ballpark, very average. I'm going to put it right here. Just overall average ballpark. The only unique thing about it would be the pool, I guess, is a unique thing. Not, you know, the seating is very odd as well, kind of almost like Kaufman Stadium where the upper deck wraps around, and then the outfield seating is, I think it's kind of ugly, but it is a retractable roof, but the roof's normally always closed due to Arizona being 80, 85 degrees. Players don't like when the roof's open when you could keep it at a controlled climate of like 73 or 74. Chase Field's a very average stadium. Nothing against it. You know, when I'm an Indians fan, so when they go to face the Diamondbacks, it's always fun because you never go to Chase Field, but I would rank it right there. Moving on, Target Field. This is a good ballpark. It's almost like I want to put this in the A category here. I like Target Field a lot. I will put it in the A. It's definitely more of a pitcher's park, but obviously with what they did to the baseballs, they made them easier to hit. It's almost kind of like, I know Minnesota hit a ton of home runs 2 years ago before the shortened season, but Target Field's a very good ballpark, recently opened in 2009, and I would put that probably in the A tier. Moving on, and guys, this is another ballpark I've been to, AT&T Park. I think it's called Oracle Park now. It's unfortunate how they changed the names, guys. San Francisco Giants, if you don't know. Phenomenal ballpark. Clearly S tier, right on the water. Just such a great atmosphere. It's literally built like it was made, like it fits like a glove in the spot where it's built right on the water. It's so unbelievable. At night, you can look out and see the different lights from across the water, from across the bay. It is a great ballpark, guys. It really is. It's such a phenomenal vibe. I've been there once. Yeah, great. And obviously San Francisco had a crazy sellout streak going. They lost that streak, and they actually had some pretty rough attendance the year prior to the coronavirus happening, but they had a crazy sellout streak there in San Francisco. Great ballpark. Obviously, the Giants winning 3 World Series in 6 years. I think 2010, 2012, 2014, or was it 14, or was it 12, 14, 16? I don't remember, but great ballpark. Really great ballpark. This is Citi Field. Again, this is... So Citi Field, I would probably put maybe like right here in between Nationals Park and Chase Field. Again, it's another average ballpark. It recently opened. This is kind of a newer ballpark. I don't know how long it's been open, maybe 12 or 13 years. They moved on from Shea Stadium, I believe, in like 2008. Obviously, it's better than Shea Stadium. We understand that. But Citi Field, yeah, I just don't get a great vibe about it. I almost get like a mall industrial type vibe, just kind of like... There's no character to it. And they moved the fences in, which this is a ballpark, I agree, they should have moved the fences in because it was just impossible. I mean, they were so far back. So that was a good job by them. But still, they added like these party decks. There's just nothing unique about it. There's nothing unique about it. Like, there's nothing I can do about it. Oriole Park at Camden Yards. This is a beautiful one. I'm going to put it in front of Target Field. This is one of those 1990s, mid-1990s ballparks that were so great. Coarse Field is another one. Coarse Field is another one. But Oriole Park is definitely a phenomenal, phenomenal place. Baltimore's been terrible the past 2 or 3, maybe even 4 years. I know they went to the playoffs a few times with Machado and stuff, but recently they've been really bad. They're going through a rebuild. We'll see how that goes. Great, great ballpark. Really great. Pretty much any baseball fan you talk to will admit it's a great ballpark. Moving on, this is Angel Stadium in Anaheim. I think it's a solid B. I would put it ahead of Nationals Park. It's a solid B at this point. It's a good ballpark. It's not too bad, but again, the average. A lot of these ballparks are going to be average. I like the rock fountain, in the center, but other than that, it's an average ballpark. Moving on, this is a ballpark that doesn't exist anymore, unfortunately. It's pretty crazy how they moved on from this ballpark. It is... the Rangers Ballpark, I forgot what it was called, something at Arlington or something like that, but this one, I liked it a lot, personally. Like, I liked it probably towards the top of B. I know their newer ballpark, it's tough to judge their newer ballpark because it was only a 60-game season and there were really no fans until the World Series. The Rangers' new ballpark hosted the World Series. It looks like a decent ballpark, their new ballpark, it does. I know a lot of people were saying it looked like a stove or like a grill. So that's interesting. But this one, I liked this one. It was a very cool ballpark. It had a lot of cool features. The right grandstand, the old retro grandstand, and the offices in the center. So I liked it, honestly. Moving on to Dodger Stadium. Really not a fan of Dodger Stadium. I'm going to put it in C tier. Just not a fan of it. I know it's an old stadium. Definitely a lot of history there. Nothing against it. I don't think it's this terrible place, but I think it's a below average stadium. There's just not. I know they did a renovation and it looks good, but I just think it's a boring place personally. This looks like, I believe this is Fenway. Yeah, that's Fenway. You can see the flag on the monster. Fenway's definitely A. It definitely is. I would put it ahead of Target Field. Some people would put it in S. I love the green monster. I love that whole thing. Obviously, great hitters park. And then you have the triangle in, deep right center field, which is great for triples. Pesky pole. It's a great park. It is a legendary park. Some people start to hate these older parks because they're so popular. It's like hating something that's popular. That doesn't make you interesting. But so many of these people, they do it. It's the same thing with movies. They hate popular movies. That doesn't make you interesting. Fenway Park is a classic stadium, and I really, really do like it. I put it in the A category as an above average park. Whenever the Indians play at Fenway, it's always fun with the monster. Very hitter friendly. Fun place to play. Moving on, Miller Park. I like Miller Park. I really do. I'm going to put it more towards the beginning of the B tier, maybe a little bit above average. I think it's a good ballpark, solid ballpark. I think it's a very fair ballpark, maybe a little bit more hitter friendly, but not too outrageous. The center field batter's eye is very ugly. It's just this black thing. I hate when the batter's eye is just a black screen. You know who has a really bad batter's eye? Chase Field. Well, I guess it's a good batter's eye if you're a player because you can see the ball really easy, but it's just this black thing. And then there's a scoreboard above it, Chase Field. It's really ugly, I'm not going to lie. Maybe I should have moved Chase Field down to the C. Honestly, yeah, I'm gonna move it down, and unfortunately, I'll put it ahead of. No, I'll put Dodger Stadium ahead of it. Nothing against Chase Field, but man, it has nice windows though. It does. I don't know, guys. We're gonna leave it and see. Moving on. This is Citizens Bank Park. I can barely tell. These are honestly small pictures, but Citizens Bank Park, it's a well put together ballpark. We'll put it up in the B category. I would say slightly above average. I like the upper deck. I like the way it's curved. It's angled at kind of a 45-degree angle. All three of the upper decks are, or the two upper decks, whatever. So I think it's cool. Decent ballpark. Really is a decent ballpark. I think it's another pretty fair ballpark. I think it is a fair ballpark. Moving on, Petco Park. This is a ballpark I really used to love. I want to put it in the A. It's a nice ballpark. I kind of liked when the Pirates were terrible and it was just such a pitcher-friendly park. To me right now, guys, I know this is not a popular opinion. The Pirates are just annoying. They're just an annoying team. They got Slam Diego and stuff. Like, baseball was better when the Pirates... Or when the Padres, excuse me, I'm calling them the Pirates, I'm sorry. When the Padres were just a bad team, and you'd go into San Diego and it'd be a relaxing game, it'd be a low-scoring game. It was just a better vibe. Now it's just they're so obnoxious with Tatis. I don't know, guys. I know I keep calling it Padres fans. They love their team right now. That's great. But I liked it when they were bad. It just felt better. Moving on to the Great American Ballpark, the Reds Stadium. Definitely hitters friendly. I think it's a good ballpark. I'll put it a solid B. I'll put it's right on track with Citizens Bank. I'll put it ahead of Citizens Bank. Well, can we move it ahead? Guys, these are small pictures. They're hard to tell. The Reds ballpark, Great American. It's a nice ballpark. Hitter friendly. I like it. I like what they're doing there. And I have it kind of a little bit above average. Moving on, this is the new, I do not like this ballpark at all. It's the new Atlanta Braves Stadium. I forgot what it's called. Obviously, their old one was Turner Field. I'm sorry. Oh, I forgot what it's called, guys. I'm sorry. We're just starting baseball season. I'll remember. But, yeah, probably C tier. Not a fan of it. I don't think it has any character. It's one of those newer ballparks that's just, there's nothing special about it. I know they have this little fountain in the center. They have a decent batter's eye. I don't like it at all. Moving on to Safeco Field, which is now T-Mobile Park. Again, I don't know why they changed names. It's annoying. But it is, I still call it Safeco Field. And guys, this is going to surprise people. I like this ballpark a lot. It is an open-aired, retractable roof stadium. Very unique. And I just like it. I don't know. I think the retractable roof really adds something to it. I think it's a really good ballpark. This honestly used to be one of my favorite ballparks. I'm moving it down a little bit, but I still have it in the A category. I'm sure a lot of people probably think it's an average ballpark, but personally, I think it's a great ballpark. Moving on to that Yankee Stadium, the new Yankee Stadium. I think they did a really good job with the new Yankee Stadium. I'm going to put it right at the top of the B category, so a little bit above average. They did a good job with it. Obviously, we had the old Yankee Stadium. They wanted to get a new one. 2008, I believe it opened up. I think they did a good job with it. A lot of people complain about it. They say they say it looks like a mall, whatever. There's no character to it. I think it's a well put together ballpark. I really do. I think it's a well put together ballpark. Moving on to Wrigley Field. Now, I've been to this one. So with Wrigley, what I'll say is, wait, dude, look at this. So look, all right, hold on. This is the exact same photo. This is the nighttime photo of the Rangers Ballpark and the daytime photo of the Rangers Ballpark. Guys, I don't know who got this. What is this? Okay, we're going to move on. Wrigley Field, I'm going to put it in the A. I'm not going to put it in the S. I like it, guys. It's a great, I've been there. It's such a nice, cozy, again, it's another one of those stadiums that's just cozy. It's crazy. It's literally in the middle of a neighborhood. So it's got some crazy good characteristics. Whether or not I want to put it above Coarse Field, I don't know. I think you're nitpicking. I just like Coarse Field. I like the idea of it. But Wrigley Field is definitely a great... you got to put it ahead of it, honestly. I'm sorry. Yeah, you do. So it's right up at the top of A tier. Definitely a great ballpark. Again, I know there are people that hate Wrigley because it's popular and whatever. It's a great ballpark, guys. Come on. Let's not reinvent the wheel here. Now, this is the Rangers Ballpark again. Guys, this is the same photo. I have to take out a microscope and see because these photos are so small, I can't even see. We're not even going to rank it. It's the same photo. It's just a night photo of it. All right, moving on. This is Marlins Park. A lot of people hate this stadium. There's a lot of issues with the stadium. I will say the exterior of this stadium is sick. It looks like something that was built in 2060. It's so futuristic. It's cool. But when it comes to the ballpark, I'll put it at the end of B. I don't think it's that terrible. It's definitely a pitcher's park, and I like that. I like when a ballpark declares itself as a pitcher's or a hitter's park. I also like ballparks that are very fair, but I don't mind Marlins Park. The one thing I will say, it's a retractable roof, but they never have the roof open. It's always closed because the problem is it's either really humid, and obviously if players can play in a controlled 73-degree environment over it being 85 and humid, they're going to choose that. And then also in Florida, you get random rogue rainstorms. They don't want to have to deal with it, so they'll just close the roof. Honestly, the roof's only open like 3 games out of like the 82 home games or 81 home games they have, it feels like. Moving on, this is, I believe, PNC. Yes, PNC, it's a great ballpark. I will be I can't. I'm not going to be putting it in S tier. I'm going to be putting it at the beginning of A tier. PNC right there, sliding in. I will move it ahead of Coors. It's a great ballpark. It's tough to look at these. God, they're just so small. But PNC, the Pirates ballpark, is phenomenal. Hopefully the Pirates are terrible. They were awful last year. Hopefully they're improving, rebuilding a little bit. Because when they were good, they went to the wild card game. That fan base is rabid. It's a small fan base. It's a small market team, but it is a rabid fan base, and it is a great stadium. It is a great stadium. It's just very well put together, right next to the bridge. Very sweet stadium. Moving on, this is Comerica Park in Detroit. A lot of people don't like this one. You know what? I'm going to give it C, a solid C tier. You got to be kidding me. Guys, you know what? There's one ballpark missing. It's Progressive Field. I'm from Ohio. I've gone to Progressive Field numerous times. Is there seriously one ballpark missing and it's Progressive Field? Dude, this is just... So what was I ranking? I was ranking Comerica Park. Comerica, we'll put it into C. Comerica, they moved the fences in a little bit because it was so deep, so that's good. But yeah, it's still a pitcher-friendly ballpark. There's really not a lot to Comerica. Moving on to Busch Stadium. This is a solid stadium. It really is. I'll put it towards the middle of the A-tier category. Very solid stadium. St. Louis, great fans. They always have high attendance. That is a great stadium. Moving on, U.S. Cellular Field. There it is. Yeah, this one is just... The problem is there's just no character with it. I don't hate the ballpark, but there's zero character. It's just, there's really nothing to talk about. I'm going to move it below average, slightly below average to the C category. And then we have Minute Maid. A lot of people Love Minute Maid? I don't. I think it's an average ballpark. I'm going to give it the B. We're going to move ahead of some of these, but Minute Maid, it does have the train. The train is really cool, but people think it's some great ballpark. Again, we all have our own opinions, but honestly, guys, I'm just mad. So, like, they're missing, I think this is supposed to be Progressive Field, because, guys, the thing is, let me tell you something. You want to talk about an underrated ballpark, and I know the renovations are terrible. They made the right field upper deck. Shipping containers, I understand that. Let's pretend that this photo is Progressive Field. They're literally missing one stadium, and it's the stadium I want to talk about. Guys, Progressive Field is a good ballpark. It's a good ballpark. I'm sorry. Let's pretend that this is Progressive Field, and see, they have that same photo. Pretend it's Progressive Field. I'm putting it in the A tier. Progressive Field, guys. Indians ballpark. Probably the most fair ballpark when it comes to hitting versus pitching. It's 50-50. I'm telling you guys, it's a good ballpark. They messed it up on the renovations. I'll give you that. They messed it up. I ended up only having one ballpark in the S tier. Maybe I should have added Wrigley and PNC into the S tier. Maybe. I don't know. Either way, these are my full rankings in order. I kind of had Rogers Center maybe a little bit low. I do like Rogers Center. I don't know, guys. These are my rankings. These ballparks are tough to see. I'm trying to see these ballparks. They don't even have Progressive Field. They don't have Progressive Field, guys. What a joke. How many ballparks did they have? Did they have all the ballparks? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. They have all 30 ballparks, but they have a duplicate and no Progressive Field. What a joke, guys. Make sure you're following me on Twitter for more, guys. That link's always in the description. I am, of course, the Depressed Ginger. Thank you for watching.